This is a 26-year-old movie about genius. It is said that after watching this movie, careers will be hired by big companies. Still in use today, 26 years later. The man's name is Will. I'm a bottom floor cleaner at MIT. In addition to sweeping the floor every day, it is drinking and fighting with friends. At the age of just 20, he has already been detained 200 times. However, just because he accidentally glanced at the blackboard in the corridor. Change your life from now on. It's being snapped up by the NSA and the Love Bureau. On the blackboard is a math problem. Will secretly wrote the answer after reading it. The next day, the whole school was in an uproar. Because that math problem was what Professor Rambo used to motivate his students, Professor Rambo won the Feld Medal at the age of 20. This is the Nobel Prize in mathematics. However, it took him 2 months to solve this problem in the first place. Why was it solved after only one night? The professor believes that the mysterious genius who solved the answer is a certain student in this classroom, and there was an even more difficult question on the board. It took their entire math department 2 years to solve this problem. Guess how long it will take Will to unravel this time. This question was asked at noon in the evening. The professor gets off work and is ready to go home, but saw a cleaner vomiting blood on the blackboard. He went to stop it. However, my colleagues have been stunned, because the answer on the blackboard is correct. This cleaner is a once-in-a-century genius, and Will was about to go to a bar near the university with his friends. Not for drinking, just for picking up girls. Friend pretending to be a history student approaches. Who knows that beautiful women are also favored by several other boys? The other party is a real MIT top student. I came up and asked a few historical questions. Want to make things difficult for friends? But Will wouldn't let his best friend play. He was eloquent. Quotes. Tell the other party the historical knowledge. They will learn next semester in one breath. Don't think you're great just because you go to college. What you learn by spending tens of thousands of dollars. You can get it at a library for $1. What's there to pack? College student slapped in the face, and a girl was charmed by Will before leaving. He took the initiative to leave a phone number for Will. Will slapped the note on the glass smartly. Show off your spoils to find the cleaner. The professor came to the logistics department. Only then did I learn that the other party's name was Will. I found this sweeping job through the introduction of the customs person. Person refers to the professional who observes the protection of young people. The professor frowned after listening. Sure enough, when he found Will, Will is being tried in court. He rushed up and beat the other party. In court, Will is still eloquent. Quotes, to silence the defense counsel, but the judge still put him in jail and set a high bail that Will was far from being able to pay. Because this is the 10th time Will has defended himself in court, the judge in the front store read him as an orphan 9 times. So I let him go. But this time Will hit the police, and Will doesn't mind going to jail, and called the beautiful woman at the bar. Professor decides to bail Will, but there are 2 conditions. First, you're going to give me some math problems, and second, I'm going to find you a psychiatrist. For doing math problems, Will is like a cow drinking water. No matter how difficult the formula is, he just read the answer once and it came out on its own, with the help of Will. A lot of the problems the professor once encountered are solved. You're a goddamn genius! Keep saying I'm a genius, but you insist on finding me a psychiatrist. Have you ever seen a genius who needs to see a psychiatrist? So Will deliberately teased the doctor with dirty jokes. 5 psychiatrists in a row. No one didn't blush and heartbeat and leave because they couldn't stand it. The professor can't help it. So he went to the last person he wanted to find. His college roommate. Sean is not a psychiatrist. It's a psychology teacher. No one knew what Sean was capable of better than the professor. But why wouldn't the professor want to find him? The reason we will talk about later, Sean didn't want to agree. But under the professor's invitation to dinner, he finally agreed to go out. As a result, I almost got into a fight with Will as soon as I came out of the mountains, so why is that? See you at Will. Telling wedding jokes doesn't work for Sean. Just deliberately put down his wife to anger him. But he doesn't know Sean's wife passed away a few years ago. It wasn't very pleasant. But the result is still the same. Will thinks Sean must have been pissed off by his success. Who knows that today's psychological counseling is still on grace? This surprised Will, however. What surprised him was still behind. He was called to the lake by Shangin. Did you ask me to come to the lake to see the swans? So you are practicing? After thinking all night to you, I finally figured it out. You've read a lot of celebrity memos.